In this video, we're going to be solving a revenue quadratic equation. The revenue formula is the price times the number of items. We're going to first find the price to earn a certain revenue, then we're going to find the maximum price that will give us the maximum revenue, and we're also going to find that maximum revenue. Let's start with this problem. A company that manufactures hair ribbons knows that the number of ribbons X it can sell each week is related to the price per ribbon P by the equation X equals 1300 minus 100P. We're going to start with the first question, which is, at what price should it sell the ribbons if it wants the weekly revenue to be $4,200? So first we have to start with the idea that we have the revenue equation. So revenue is equal to the price times X, the number of items. So what we're going to do is take what we have up here. We have that the number of items X is represented by 1300 minus 100P. So let's put that in here, minus 100P, and that is all being multiplied by the price P. So let's go ahead and distribute this through, and we'll get that the revenue is equal to 1300P minus 100P squared. So we want to find a weekly revenue of $4,200. So I'm going to replace the R, the revenue, with $4,200. And again, that's equal to 1300P minus 100P squared. So now let's rearrange this so that we can solve it in a quadratic form. So I'm going to put the P squared term first. That's negative 100P squared. And then plus 1300, but I'm going to move the 4200 over to the other side, 4200. So I have minus 4200. So now I have my entire equation here that I can then use to solve. So this is now equal to 0, because remember 42 minus 4200 is equal to 0. So it's in the format that we can now solve. So let's see if we can factor this. Let's get the greatest common factor out. We'll take out negative 100, because remember you want your P squared term to be positive. So dividing 1300 by negative 100 gives us minus 13, and again that's P. Let's not forget our P there. And then 4200 divided by negative 100 turns positive 42. And this is all equal to 0. So now in terms of factoring, we don't need to worry about anything with the 100. We're just going to factor P minus 7 times P minus 6. And so our prices are either going to be at $7 or at $6 will give us the revenue of $4,200. Now we're going to look at the second question. So let's give ourselves a little bit more space. Now let's look at the second question. What is the price that would give the maximum revenue? And of course we want to also find what is the maximum revenue. So remember, our quadratic graph looks like this, and our maximum is going to be the vertex of the quadratic graph. So to do this, we're talking about the original equation. So not part A where they were looking for a specific revenue, but based on this original piece of information, what would give them the maximum revenue? So that means we need to go back to our revenue equation, which again is the number of items times the price per item. And again, it could be written the other way, P times X. So I'm going to go ahead and put the P out front like we did before, multiply it by X of 1300 minus 100P. That's going to give me my revenue. So if I distribute it through, I'm where I was before, 1300P minus 100P squared. This is what we're going to work for when we work on our revenue. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite it just so it's easier to see the P squared on the one side, plus 1300P. So you'll notice there's no constant here. So there are two ways that I can do this. I can rewrite it in vertex form. I can also, since I'm not being required to do that, I can use the negative b over 2a formula to find the x value of my vertex. So to do that, my b is going to be 1300. So 1300 divided by, negative 1300 is negative b, divided by 2 times negative 100. So 1300 divided by 200, the two negatives make a positive. I get 6.5. So $6.5 is the price that will give me a maximum revenue. Now, to find the maximum revenue, the simplest way to do it, so you don't have to remember more than one formula of negative b over 2a, is to go back to the original equation here and plug in 6.5 for p. So I'm going to take the negative 100, this is r equals, I'm going to replace the p with 6.5, that's coming up squared, plus 1300 times 6.5. Now, if you go through and do all of the arithmetic, you're going to find out that your max revenue is $4,225.